As soon as I got the ball, everybody's yelling, you know.
All your friends and mates are all singing out for you. It makes you really feel good.
Yeah, heart's in your mouth, you know, with everybody yelling at you and that, you know.
And I think the more they yell, the better you play.
I used to look at some mates, you know, they'd be screaming and I'd just give a thumbs up when I flip a goal in.
You want to be a champion yourself. You want to be better than these guys there.
It was for your town and for your people.
You don't give a damn what color you are, so long as you can play.
Knowing that you got that uniform now, you're representing your town, you feel like you're walking on the air.
That's a feeling you never forget.
That's how I felt. I felt really good and confident in myself when I used to play.
Every time we win the game, yeah, you think you're going up to heaven.
The Americans came here drilling for oil in the Derby area. They introduced basketball to the town, and I started off as a junior player with a team called the Little Devils.
We used to have portable basketball rings. We used to, you know, they made them and portable. We could lift them up and take them off, and we used to put stones on them so they didn't fall down on us.
And we got the news that Derby was playing basketball, so, you know, people here, not me, but other people thought we should start getting basketball going here. And we didn't know nothing about basketball. I didn't even bounce a ball.
When we first started playing basketball, it was in the courthouse. They had a cemented floor, and then they had to take the court away from there because sometimes they had night courts. And they moved it to the Presbyterian church.
We negotiated with the parish priest to actually play basketball there under one condition, that we would assist them to build those courts.
Before they put a cement on it, it was anthill. We used to smash anthill and make it hard and water it, and we used to play on that.
When we first started, we didn't have these rubber ball when you can easily bounce. It was like a soccer ball, a leather. It was covered in leather, and you can try to understand bouncing a leather, you know. It's hard.
Oh, it's so easy. So simple, really, you know. You just get on the court and just bounce.
We didn't know anything about basketball. We knew nothing. The first year we played basketball, we got beaten in every game for the whole year.
But Father McKelson, he got six of us boys, and sort of we trained.
He used to make us run from the Beagle Bay turn-off back into town. We used to do that every evening. And then when we started playing basketball in the next year, we won every game for 5 years.
To begin with, from Sunday Island, the basketball actually started from one of the teachers that was there teaching on Sunday Island. Taught us how to play basketball and was teaching the older guys how to play on a gravel court. And the team we were barracking for would be on there. Like I'd sit up on top, me and my cousin would sit on top of the goal post. And every time they had a shot for the goal, we'd catch the basketball and put it through the hoop.
Basketball, I can say, was the highlight. Since that hit town, hit Broome, the whole place sort of lit up, if you could say, you know.
But there was quite a few teams in town. All small groups had their own team, and always someone coming with a new style.
It was teams called St. Mary's, Apaches, Wanderers and Eagles. Huh? They were just a Broome local team.
Well, I was watching Donnelly Mackenzie, and I thought, you know, shit, this man is good. So I thought, well, I'll have a go at it, you know. I'll try and do. If I want to be good, I have to be good as him.
I don't want to brag or anything, but I used to be pretty good in basketball, and I used to be a good dribbler.
Donnelly was the best dribbler in basketball I ever seen. He could handle the ball with his one hand and pass it with one hand.
We Aboriginal people put Broome on the map for sport. Truly, I believe that, because we are the Aboriginal people who started playing basketball.
There was only one mission boat that used to go to Derby and pick up stores from Derby, and that's the only chance the guys had to go to Derby and play against the Derby side. Even the supporters would get on the boat and on the lugger to support the team, leave Sunday Island maybe early in the morning, pretty early, if the tide was all right. And the boat used to go into through that gap, through the King Sound, and maybe to one of the islands just to catch a couple of fish or turtle to bring for the family, and then head off and watch the tide. And then sometimes used to anchor at Point Ormond to wait for the tide for the creeks to fill in the Derby Wharf and the Derby Jetty, because that's not a deep water jetty. And then when the mission closed, when everybody moved to Derby or Broome, they joined different teams.
We had about 8 teams here in Derby at that time, because we had 2 teams from Mowanjum community. The post office had a team, and the shops had a team as well in the early days. We had a team of Vardy boys who were residing in Derby, and Wally Archie had his Devil's Angels.
Playing Wally Archie was like, you know, we were playing a champion here, you know. We're going to have to beat him.
His ball handling skills and shooting was beyond comprehension.
Well, I was one of the best in WA, just natural, you know, all around there, you know. I did everything. I could shoot from the centre line and get goals and that.
Well, he was the captain of the Derby side.
To be able to get into the Derby side for a start, you had 2 training matches every week, and you had to attend.
Well, we just took the best players from each team and put them together and trained together, and went down to Broome and that, you know, and to Port Hedland.
My Derby uniform that I wore very proudly and with distinction, and done my best for the town of Derby, particularly against Broome. It made me feel so important and so good to represent my town. It was like going off to the Olympic Games.
Gradually we formed a team to play inter-town sports around the country, Derby, Port Hedland, Carnarvon. It was a combined Broome team, and we were called the Broome All-Stars, because we had people like Donnelly, myself, Philip Dolby, Henry Riley, all the guns at that time.
Alfie had a taxi business, and then when we used to go to Port Hedland or Derby, we used to always have a free taxi.
That was an Austin taxi, and it was on a 4-wheel drive. And when we'd hit a boggy sand, we had to come out of the taxi and push it.
It was boggy. Sometimes we used to spend hours on the road digging the car.
The truck usually broke down, got punctured or something.
We had to all sit outside and wait till somebody picked the vehicle up.
I had my uniform on, and I walked off his motorcycle straight into the basketball court. That's how the road was them days.
And when we started to play, we were okay. And we gave the other team hell.
It was always a good fight between Derby and Broome. The crowds made it exciting.
The atmosphere is enormous. Is that no one liked a Broome team.
I don't think that the other teams liked Broome, because actually we were too good.
We always had a grudge against playing against Broome, you know, both teams, Derby and Broome. And every time we went down to Broome, all the spectators used to boo us and yell at us and scream at us and that.
On court, no, you don't like the opposition.
I told my mob, there's no friendship on the courts, you know. We're here to play a game and we're here to win.
You didn't want to put on a poor performance either here in Derby or Broome or Port Ellen. If you played for your town, you had to do your very best, and you would be looked upon as having to excel and bring the trophy back to your town.
Donnelly had his guys that were the best, and Wally had his best players too.
People like Wally Archie, Cyril Archer and Ray Gunak and all them, they were the stars. They were the Derby stars.
We all knew the true abilities of Donnelly Mackenzie in Broome, Philip Matsumoto, Philip Dolby, Eric Cox, David Darwin.
I can tell you that I was number one. They were after me.
Because Wally would run in there and bang, 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 there's a goal, you see. And then these other ones would chase after Donnelly, and he'd be dribbling around and they'd be running around in circles.
Derby told the other players, stop Mackenzie, stop Mackenzie. Doesn't matter what you do, stop him. Because if we stop him, we'll win the game.
And it was fast basketball, you know what I mean? It stirred the crowd up all the time.
There are times you can't hear the whistle blow or you can't hear the umpires saying anything. The noise was so great.
The people who were barracking for us and the people who were barracking for Derby, sometimes I think fisticuffs would come out of it. You know, people would stop this.
But that was just loyalty to your town, I guess. Sticking up for your team.
The shouting and everything, you know. Come on, Derby, come on, Broome, you know. Come on, Derby, kill them, you know.
We didn't worry about it, you know. Don't lose our temper and go and punch somebody.
Well, I understand it's a game, you know. You need to go and get blood out of anybody.
Every time the ball went up, Gordon would beat him. Grab the ball, straight to me. I would dribble it down to Matzo or Eric, who was up in the forward line, or Philip Dolby, you know. Because Philip Dolby would be waiting on the outside of the keyway, ready to shoot that long shot.
They didn't have 3-pointers then, they only had 2-pointers.
In most cases it brings the house down if it's a real long shot.
Well, when you have a long shot, you know, from the centre line, you get a goal, your heart, you know, keep pounding away and you feel happy, you know. You want to do it more often.
You'd get a shot, get a goal, you know, turn around to the supporters there and the people that barrack for you, face them and go, isn't that great, you know?
Dropping those 3-pointers it's like magic. It does a lot of things to you, you know. And you, with my age, I think you think like, could I do that again? And I have tried doing it, but it always seemed to be falling short. This is the way you shoot a 3-pointer. Make sure you got the balance, holding the ball right, put it up as high as you can, then release the ball and follow it through with your hands like that. All right.
When the last whistle blow and you know that you won, you know, everybody just run and grab each other, hug each other.
After the game, everybody was happy. You know, if Derby and Broome met, everybody came together well after the game.
and then gradually went to combine team with Derby and Broome to go to Perth to play the rest of the country towns around the metropolitan area.
There was 3 of us from Broome and about 5 or 6 from Derby.
And we all travelled in, I think it's one car or 2 cars. It's like a family unit just going away on holidays.
It seems like bad friends we were playing, but we were not bad friends, we were good friends.
We just clicked and that was it. There was no rivalry in the team in the combined match. We just respected one another's individual talents, you know.
It is very strange because that is the first time we'd ever been to Perth.
We felt out of place because we were the only Aboriginal side there.
But then when they saw what we could do, they were all coming around, you know. How do you play like that? Who trained you?
Some of our players were so exceptionally good and different to the normal style of play that we sort of attracted the crowds to come to our games.
Oh, we just clicked when we got together down in the Perth stadium there.
You know, we had the best of the best between Derby and Broome, so we had to be amazing.
Some of our games were outside in the sun, and some of our games was inside.
Those games that we played on the outside bitumen courts around the Perry Lake Stadium, we seemed to be much more suited to that because it was the same in our respective towns. We all played on bitumen.
Indoors were wooden floors. This is a bit strange for us because we never played on wooden floors before.
I used to play barefoot. But on the major court in Perth, you had to wear shoes.
If you weren't really accustomed to it, you'd be slipping and sliding, you know.
We won all our games on the bitumen, outside courts, but no games were won on the wooden fancy courts in the stadium in Perry Lakes. So it was quite an adventure. Yeah.
The beauty about basketball in those days, it really kept people motivated.
Everybody just wanted to be a basketball player, and it's been a good contributor for Indigenous people to participate in the sport.
And we're all in our 70s now, you know, and we're lucky to be living. But we were good friends right through, even till today.
And when I walk around the town, "Hey, you're Philip Matsumoto. Yeah, I used to play for you, but I used to beat you too, eh?" So I said, "Yeah." So, you know, it gives you that good feeling.
I got one mountain block. He could be down the street, half charged up or something, and we're driving past and he'll see me and he'll start bouncing, pretend he's bouncing a basketball. And he says, "Hey, basketball man." And, you know, I feel good about that because he always remember that.
I still got that burning feeling to be part of playing basketball. But I enjoy being a spectator and criticising where there's criticism to be made.
See what they're doing, not doing right. You say, you know, you could have gone and did this and gone and did that.
Oh, gee. Why hadn't he passed the ball then before he ran across? He would have passed the ball to that other block and he probably would have got a goal out of it.
Sometimes I just can't help myself but walk to the coach and help the coach out.
I wish I could go back in time and carry on playing. I'd love to. I'm really miss it, you know, basketball.
If I was younger, I'd still be playing.
I certainly do miss, you know, playing basketball and that. And I was, you know, just kept you fit, you know, all the time, you know, running around the court and that. And you miss people, you know, mixing with people, playing sports and that. getting too old, you see, couldn't stay young.
I really miss it. I really miss it. I mean, the mind is there, you know. I like to play, but the flesh is not strong. That's all I can say. But I miss basketball very much, because I know in my heart I gave a lot to basketball.